The memory unfolded softly like a fragile piece of the past that refused to fade. Jungkook had been sitting on a chair near the small study table, his back slightly hunched, his brows furrowed in deep concentration as he stared at the open book in front of him. The room was quiet, only the faint sound of pages rustling and his uneven breathing filling the space. His fingers moved awkwardly in the air, trying to copy the hand shapes drawn in the book. His lips pressing into a thin line as a frustration slowly built within him. No, this was like this, he muttered under his breath, his voice low as he tried again. His hands forming a shape, but it came out wrong again. He groaned quietly, running a hand through his hair before looking back at the page. Determination flickered in his eyes. He tried again and again, failing each time. His fingers fumbled, his movements stiff and unnatural, his shoulders tensing as irritation crept up his spine. Why is this so hard? He whispered, exhaling sharply as he leaned back up in the chair for a second, closing his eyes briefly before leaning forward again, refusing to give up. Just as he raised his hands to try once more, a soft tap landed on his shoulder. Jungkook flinched instantly, his body jerking slightly in surprise as his eyes snapped open. He quickly turned around and froze. You stood there, looking at him, your eyes curious, your head tilted slightly as your fingers already began moving, asking him something in sign language, your brows lifting gently. What were you doing? Jungkook's eyes widened slightly, panic flickered across his face. Without thinking, he immediately shut the book and pushed it aside, standing up quickly from the chair, a forced smile appearing on his lips as he rubbed the back of his neck nervously. Nothing, he said quickly, shaking his head slightly as if to dismiss it, his gaze avoiding yours as he tried to act normal. You narrowed your eyes slightly, clearly unconvinced. Your gaze shifted towards the table, then back to him, your lips curved into a small knowing smile. Before he could react, you stepped forward and grabbed the book, pulling it towards you. Hey! Jungkook reached out instinctively, but it was too late. You opened it. Your eyes scanned the page and then you looked up at him. Your expression softened immediately. It was a sign language book. Jungkook froze in place, his hand still half raised as he stared at you, his ears turning slightly red as he scratched the back of his neck again, clearly caught. I was just... He started, but stopped, letting out a quiet sigh before giving up on the excuse. You smiled gently, your fingers moved slowly, deliberately. You were learning? Jungkook hesitated, then nodded slightly. Yeah, he admitted quietly, his voice softer now, his gaze dropping for a second before he looked back at you. There was a brief silence, and suddenly, as if trying to prove something, Jungkook straightened slightly and raised his hands, attempting to sign what he had just practiced. His fingers moved upward, unsteady. Wrong. He tried to form a sentence, but it came out completely messed up. His brows furrowing deeper as he struggled to remember the correct shapes. I, you, we, he mumbled under his breath, mixing spoken words with broken signs, his frustration growing with every failed attempt. You watched him for a second and then you laughed silently, your shoulders shaking, your hands covering your mouth as your eyes sprinkled with amusement. Jungkook froze mid-motion, blinking at you. Don't laugh, he muttered, his lips pressing into a pout as he dropped his hands forward. Clearly embarrassed, his cheeks flushing slightly, you shook your head quickly, still smiling. Your fingers moved again. It's okay, you don't have to learn. You sighed gently, your expression soft, reassuring. Jungkook's smile faded slightly. He stared at you for a second, then without saying anything, he turned around, grabbed a pen and a piece of paper from the table and quickly wrote something down. His movements firm and determined. He turned back and held the paper out to you. You took it and read. How can I not? We have to spend our life together, so it's necessary to love. Your eyes softened instantly, your heart swelled at his words. You looked up at him, your gaze filled with something warm, something deep. Jungkook shifted slightly under your gaze, scratching the back of his neck again. Suddenly shy. I mean, it's just... He muttered, avoiding eye contact as they once strolled off. He smiled, then stepped closer, raising the hands. He gently took his fingers in yours and began correcting his position, guiding his hands slowly, your touch soft and patient as he showed him the right way. Jungkook watched your hands closely, trying to follow, but again he messed it up. Wait, was it like this? He asked, trying again, his brows furrowed deeply as his fingers twisted awkwardly. You shook your head, smiling as he corrected him again. He tried again and failed. Again and again. Why does sign language is so hard? He asked, your eyes softened. You wrote down something on the paper and gave him. He started reading. If my voice can't reach you, then let my hands become your favorite enough nearing me. Just try harder, you will learn. Jungkook's eyes softened after reading the paper and started learning sign language with more determination. But after few minutes of frustrated groan escaped his lips as he ran a hand through his hair, stepping back slightly. Why am I so bad at this? He complained, his tone filled with irritation as he looked at his own hands like they had betrayed him. He chuckled silently, your shoulders shaking, then as he tried to calm him down. Your fingers moving. You are doing fine. I'm not, he interrupted immediately, shaking his head as he pointed at the book. Even that looks easier than what I'm doing, he added, his lips pressing into a thin line. He stepped closer again, reaching for his hands once more, but before he could continue, Jungkook suddenly grabbed your wrist and pulled her towards him. He gasped violently as he stumbled forward, landing on his lap as he sat down on the edge of the bed. His arms wrapped around you instinctively. Enough, he muttered under his breath, his frustration melting into something else entirely as he looked at you, his gaze softening. He blinked at him, surprised. But before you could react, he leaned in and kissed you, deeply, suddenly. His hand moved to your wrist, holding you close as his lips pressed against yours, all his frustration pouring into that one moment. You froze for a second, but then melted into him, your hands twisting against his shoulders as you kissed him. Back, a soft, silent chuckle escaping you in between. Jungkook pulled you closer, his lip tightening slightly as he deepened the kiss. His movements were now more tender, as if trying to memorize the feeling. He smiled against his lips, then kissed him back just as deeply. Slowly, the two of you leaned back, the bed creaking softly beneath you as you fell into it together, your laughter fading into soft breaths, your hands finding each other naturally. The world outside disappeared, the frustration, the practice, anything, it all faded away. Leaving just the two of you, wrapped in warmth enough in a moment that felt like it could last forever.